All right, so it's happened again. I had another crazy idea, and I swear whenever I get these ideas in my head, I can't give up on them. I just always end up going down these crazy roads. And we've done a lot of these crazy kind of record-breaking things. If you've been around, you've seen some of them. We've done the world's largest trade-up, where I traded up 30,000 items, and we did the most blueprints in the world video, where I showed that I had 30,000 blueprints, and then I'm middleman to trade worth, I don't even know, like tens of millions of credits or something crazy, the biggest trade ever. And we did the world's largest item giveaway, where we gave out like 500 items, including like tons of black markets and even some alpha items. And even most recently, we got our name on top of the global Rocket League leaderboard, #1 spot for shot to goal ratio, which is crazy and stupid and weird, but kind of cool at the same time. So anyway, I had another crazy idea here. Before I get into it, let me kind of tell you how this came about. So I got my cousin into Rocket League like a long time ago. And at first, you know, he's brand new to the game. He's pretty bad. That's probably an understatement. He was really bad in the very beginning. And he got like hard stuck in Bronze 1, Div 1. And he was winning games, but he kept staying in Bronze 1, Div 1. And I couldn't figure out, like, why is he not ranking up? So I literally had to, like, jump on an old account on my PS4 that was, like, lower ranked and party up with him. And we had to just win a ton in a row. And I swear we won, like, 15 or 20 games before he got out of Div 1. And at first we thought maybe his account was glitched. And the more I thought about it, the more I started thinking, like, you know, he's got to be getting MMR every single time. Why did it take so long? And I started wondering, can you get negative MMR? Is that a thing? Can you go below 0? And then a while back, I was watching a random Squishy video that was like a road to GC. It was early on for him. And he partied up against somebody that his Bacchus mod was showing was the person on the other team was negative MMR. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can get negative MMR. So this was my thought here, is what is the lowest rank you could possibly ever get to? And I knew that this would get a little bit harder as you go along, and I'll talk about some of that here in a bit, but this was my road to like getting the lowest ranked account in the world that I was going to try to see what I could get to. And I started out doing this in 2s, which was a huge mistake. It didn't work at all, because in 2s you got to wait till 3 minutes and 30 seconds before you can even forfeit and leave the game. So I thought at first this was going to be easy, right? I mean, easy to D rank, right? That can't be challenging. You just jump in and you act like you're drunk and your monitor's not on and you're brand new and you're horrible and maybe you're missing both your hands. You know, whatever. You just throw and you lose the games. The problem is once you start getting lower and lower, you find more and more people that don't care. And in 2s, I was finding people that would leave before you were actually allowed to forfeit. So they're sitting out and getting banned, and I'm gaining MMR off of it. So I sat trying to do this for a while in 2s, and for the life of me, I could not D rank. No matter how bad I played or what I did, people would forfeit out quicker. They would just leave the match, you know, whatever it would be. And I just, I could not go down. So finally I came to the conclusion, like, I've got to just do this in 1s. And I should have thought of this in the first place. In 1s, you can leave the match as soon as you want. And something that was important to me in this is, like, I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to, like if you smurf, you know, you're sitting there and, like, you're destroying people who are much lower ranked than you. I didn't feel like I was really damaging anyone here. If anything, I'm just giving a free win to, you know, each person as they came along. And as I move down, you know, I should get new people each and every time. So in 1v1, it was easy. I just hop in, I play for a while, play bad. And once I get to the point where people are leaving relatively quickly, I had to make sure that I left before them. And this is where things got crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. So it gets hard once you start getting below 0 MMR, because you're regularly matchmaking with people who are much higher MMR than you. You know, say that I'm negative 50 and I match up with somebody who's 200. I mean, they're still a Bronze 1 player. It's a fair matchup, but they're 250 MMR higher. If I win that game, meaning they leave before I do, I'm going to gain like 15, 20 MMR. But if I lose the game, I'm losing like 1, 2, 3 MMR at most. You eventually will start getting to a point where you don't even lose a full MMR per loss. You'll lose like 1 MMR like every 4 or 5 games, or maybe 10 games, just depending on what you're matched up against. Especially if you're matched up against somebody who's 500 higher than you or 800 higher than you. And this was beginning to happen quite regularly. So I'll show you guys kind of here what I got to, and then some of the crazy games of what I matched up against as I let some of this run. At one point, when I got down to like some of the lowest points I got down to negative 500, and I matched up with people who are positive 500. So put that in perspective. That is a 1,000 MMR difference. That is the equivalent of a Bronze 1 getting matched up against a Grand Champ in 1v1. The difference between, or maybe it's a Bronze 3 and a Grand Champ in 1v1 is about 1,000 MMR. which is insane that it's matching me up with that. But, you know, what else is it supposed to do when you start to get down to that point? But so here's where it gets crazy. This world that I discovered, and I don't know why it exists, and it absolutely blew my mind, is at first I would go in and I would leave the match as fast as I could. And I was moving down. I mean, it was taking me forever and ever. Like, this is over days and days that I'm trying to do this. And then somebody else would leave quicker than me. And finally, I got to the point where I was like blown away by how fast people could leave. And I would regularly match up against the same group of negative people. Negative, make it sound like they're toxic, but the same group of negative people. They're like negative 100, negative 200. I'm matchmaking against these people, and they're leaving so quick that I can't leave faster than them. So finally, I came to the conclusion that, like, I've got to find a way to automate this. Like, I can't click quick enough. And so if you guys watched my 30,000 item trade up video, I talked about using a clicker in there because I got so tired of clicking the 5 items, clicking trade up, and clicking OK to agree to do the trade up, that I started using a clicker that would click it all for me. And I'd just run it and it'd click over and over and over again and trade up all the items. So that clicker is really fast. You tell it where you want it to click and you know, what you want it to do. So each time I would get into a match, I had it set up to where I just press a button and that clicker would go and pull up the menu, hit leave match, and hit to leave. And it would just do that over and over and over again until the leave button would appear, which is what you guys have been seeing running there in the background. And so I thought, all right, I've got this solution set up. Every time I go into a match, I'll just start that and we'll do this. And I'm going to get to negative 1,000, negative 2,000, right? I'm going to get to some crazy number. Well, it was going good for a little while. I got to like negative 300, got down to maybe around negative 400, and then somebody would beat me. And I couldn't understand how they would beat me. Understand, this thing is going so fast. It's software. I mean, it's a clicker. It's automated. No human being could click faster. I literally automated this whole process, and I would sit there and watch it, and I would leave the match before, 10 people in a row or 7 people in a row, and then 2 or 3 would come in and beat me. And it became extremely obvious to me that they were using software as well. There's like a whole community of people that live below zero. I call them like the mole people. There's a whole community of people that live below zero who are using software to regularly, instantly leave from matches. And I don't know why. So I tinkered and worked on this software to get it the best I could. And I let this thing run for like 24 hours watching it. And I would go down to like negative 450. And at one point, I finally got below negative 500. And I thought, all right, I'm going to stop and make the video there. And initially, like I said, I get an idea in my head. I can't give up on it. I wanted to go to like a negative 1,000, and I realized that 10 games could go by and I go down 1, that it's going to take a week or more for me to go further. But I ran it a little longer to see what would happen. And so many people came in with automated software that was faster than my little clicker, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to set it up, any better than these people. But so many people came in that despite me using a clicker to try to leave as fast as possible, I went from negative 500 all the way back up to negative 350. I gained 150 MMR because there were so many people leaving quicker than me. What is this crazy world of mole people? And I got to wonder to myself, like why? Like, I'm trying to make a YouTube video, this weird thing. I want to see, what can I get down to? Why are there so many other people trying to live below 0 MMR? Like, what is the point of it? And then I started to figure some of it out. So I found one guy in particular who insta left before me like twice. And so I went and I looked at his profile, and he's a Twitch streamer. And then I went over and looked at his Twitch, and I found on his VODs, he's like a Champ 2 player who goes down below Bronze 1 so that he can smurf on his Twitch stream, which I think is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. I'm not like really a throw you under the bus, judgmental kind of person, but I don't really care much for it. You want to go down there and hit clips on Bronze 1s, I mean, you want to hit them on Diamonds maybe? Okay. But like, go all the way down to Bronze 1s, I don't know. The player's not even in the screen half the time. So that was this crazy world I encountered. I finally got it to where negative 519 was the best I could do. I never saw anybody lower than me along the whole path of doing this, and everything I looked up. I don't think you could really get any lower. Maybe somebody who's like way smarter with computers than me, who actually knows how to do programs and things like that, maybe they could come up with one that's even faster. But even then, you're going to come into a situation where everyone you're queuing against is 700, 800, 900 MMR higher, and you're losing like 1/10 of an MMR every single time you queue into a match. And so you could run this thing for a couple weeks and maybe you're going to lose another 100 MMR, maybe 200. I don't know. I think I'm pretty close to the bottom there. So 519 is the record I got to. That is the lowest ranked account in the entire world. We got way off the scale. Pretty weird and nuts, but I want to share this with you guys. It's I get these crazy ideas. I want to see what I could do, but this video actually gave me a couple of other ideas, some other really cool things that I think we could do. Like, there's a whole community out there that offers boosting, like rank boosting. I know it's like a really controversial thing. You know, some people use it, they get their titles. I don't think you're actually even allowed to use it, but if it's that important to you to go get a title and you want to spend your money and do whatever, all right. So there's this whole boosting community out there. And the way they work, if you're not familiar with it, is they'll charge you a certain amount of money to take an account from, you know, rank A to rank B. So whether it's from bronze all the way to Grand Champ, or it's from Champ 3 to Grand Champ, that'll determine the price. Obviously, Champ 3 to Grand Champ is a lot less money. Going from like bronze to silver would be, you know, less money than going from bronze all the way to Grand Champ. The easier the step, the less money it'll be. So the easiest step, right, would be going from bronze 1 to bronze 2. And you can look on these sites where they have these boosters, and they'll take you from bronze 1 to bronze 2 for like, you know, $5 or something, because they're looking at it saying, hey, I got to play 8 games. I'll go up to 4 divs. They're going to win all 8 easy. And there you go. They've got their $5. It didn't even take them, you know, well less than an hour, and they've got their $5. What I thought is, what if I gave this account to a booster, and I said, hey, I want to go from bronze 1 to bronze 2. I see here on your website you say $5. And they say, okay, yeah, cool. And then they log in to take it to bronze 2, but instead of it being 100 MMR at bronze 1, it's negative 500. And instead of playing 8 games, they got to play like 180 games to get their $5. It's like, you know, troll the booster. I think it would be hilarious. I don't know how I would really record the reaction, you know, other than just recording their chat with me, or, you know, maybe if I could get them to hop into voice, I think it'd be pretty funny. So let me know if you guys, if that'd be something you'd be interested in. And the other one is, I did play, like I would play around a little bit in these 1v1s just to kind of figure out what players were down here once I realized that guy was smurfing. And I'm shocked by the number of smurfs that are down there smurfing in sub-zero mole people territory against, you know, these bronze ones that are, you know, plat, diamond, low champ rank, whatever it is. And I ran into one guy, and I was sort of playing around with him. I realized right away he was a smurf, and like he hit a shot on me, and he was kind of toxic. So I immediately went and scored on him, and he goes, all right, now you've really asked for it, buddy. And he went like all super try hard, and he's like a diamond champ 1 player. And anyway, I smashed him, and it kind of felt kind of good to smash the smurf. So I thought, hey, this is kind of a cool series. Why don't I like become the defender of the bronzes against the smurfs? And I'll use that account. I'll go in, you know, just match make, give up the win to the bronzes that I run into. But anytime I encounter a smurf, see if I can find a toxic smurf, bait him a little bit, and then just, you know, do my best impression of a poor man's squishy muffins on them. But anyway, I think it could make for some pretty good content. But anyway, let me know if you guys are interested in either of those. I know this is a weird kind of crazy video. I've got a bunch of others that are in the works, and we're trying to get those put out soon. I know a couple of you guys have been asking about the nothing to white hat. That's been just a chore to try to get all that stuff edited and put together, but eventually I'll get that out as well. But anyway, I appreciate you guys checking this one out. If you are enjoying my content, please subscribe. I would appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.